Welcome friends. Thank you for putting forth the effort to leave your cozy wherever you were. I was in front of the fireplace. But I'm excited to be here and thank you so much for coming. Some of you already know me. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Maria Barone. And I've been enjoying this incredible sanctuary for about 17 years. And I've been on the Friends of the Arcata Marsh board for this is my third year. It's a fantastic group and I learn so much every time I enter this building or enter this land. And speaking of this land, I do want to acknowledge that this is the unceded land of the Weah people who continue to carry out their traditions and participate in community. And it's a pleasure to be here in community with all of you. For those of you who don't know, just a little bit of housekeeping, the restrooms are dead ahead, both on the right and the left. There's a water station around the corner. There's some treats back there and beverages. Please sign in on your way out if you didn't sign in on your way in. The city wants to know who participates and how many people participate in our programs. This is Andrew Wolff, and he's going to do most of his own introduction. I will just briefly say that he just completed his master's in the environmental engineering department at Cal Poly.
Yeah.
And I know it's way more technical than that. So he'll get into all that information. And let's see. Okay, without further, and Andrew has requested that questions wait until the end. But he is going to throw out a couple of questions to you all. So
Yeah.
I won't give it all away. So here is Andrew Wolff, and I do want to just say thank you so much for being willing to come and share your knowledge with us. And fun fact, I participated in his survey, so I'm really excited. I have a personal interest in this.
Can we hide this?
Just a little narrow thing at the top.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I'll just hold this.
Make it through without tripping on that floor.
So, hello everyone, good evening. My name is Andrew Wolff. I represent Arcata Marsh Research Institute and Cal Poly Humboldt. And today I'll be talking about my master's thesis titled Characterizing the Beneficial Uses of the Arcata Marsh Constructed Wetland System and Wildlife Sanctuary. So first, I just wanted to like a quick forward. I started this project back in 2023, summer of 2023. Since then, I've had a lot of opportunities. I've met a lot of people. This is my team right here at the Arcata Marsh Research Institute. I have the opportunity to travel to Europe. So this is a picture from Poland where I attended their conference. That's me presenting at their conference. It was a really cool experience. And also most importantly, I got to connect with the community through this research survey. And I'm sure a lot of people are really curious about the results for the survey. So a quick preview. It was a QR code survey, like a Google form survey with 17 questions. Here's a quick preview of the results from one of the questions. The question asked, what's your favorite part about the Arcata Marsh? And I compiled all the responses into this word cloud of like what people thought about the marsh. So I thought this graphic was really interesting, like how people view the marsh. And I'll talk a lot more about that later in my results section. But the outline of my presentation first I'll go into the introduction and background of my project. That includes my own background, like how I got to this point. Project inspiration. And then introduction to Arcata Marsh. I'm sure a lot of people know about the Arcata Marsh, but I'll just go into that as well. Then following that will be my project design, like the history behind Arcata Marsh. And then also about the phase 1 and 2 upgrade that's going on right now. And then the research questions and the scope of the project. Then I'll quickly go through the methods, and then finally results discussion and conclusion, the next steps. So my background is in chemical engineering and wildlife management. I graduated with a chemical engineering degree from San Diego, UC San Diego, and from there I went to Louisiana to work at a chemical plant. So Louisiana's located right there. That's swamps right there. It's very humid, but also has a lot of wetlands and swamps, and it's a pretty cool place. This is the plant I worked at. I used to wear these blue uniforms, but so after working there for like 4.5 years, I wanted to do something more meaningful, like more for the environment, for the community. So that led me to wildlife management in Japan. So I went to this really like central Japan in Nagano Prefecture, and this is one of the offices I worked at. It's like right there, so it's surrounded by forests. There's a little pond right there, a mountain right there. These are people I worked with. So I worked with managing black bears. So he was one of the black bears, and that was a really cool experience too. Surrounded by nature, like wildlife. So, but deep down, I wanted to get back into engineering. So I did some research, and I found out about Arcata Marsh, how it combines like engineering as well as wildlife management, or wildlife, I guess sanctuary. But so that's how I ended up in Humboldt State University. Currently it's Cal Poly Humboldt. So I started working at the Arcata Marsh Research Institute in March of 2023. There I met Bob Gerhardt. Bob's a walking legend. He's sitting right there. But yeah, so Bob brought up this interesting topic. So characterizing the enhancement value of wastewater addition into Arcata Marsh. And these are some of his quotes. So he said, this is our effluent, which is like the wastewater that we treat, and like the city's wastewater kind of enhances the system. So, and then he also told me about the phase 1 and 2 upgrade. And he told me this will be a big project, but with my background, like I really wanted to do that project. So at first, I was thinking, Arcata Marsh is already a beneficial system. How hard can it be? But it's a lot more. It's really big, and there's a lot going on in Arcata Marsh. So I'll be talking about that today. And another inspiration, I just wanted to mention the Marsh Builders. I just heard what happened with Sharon Levy. I just wanted to acknowledge her. Without this book, this project wouldn't have been completed, I think. So yeah, this was a big inspiration for my project. And so now we go into the introduction of Arcata Marsh. I think it's okay. So as you all know, Arcata Marsh is both a wastewater treatment facility and a wildlife sanctuary. It's located in Arcata, Humboldt County. It has a cool summer Mediterranean climate with temperatures ranging from 10 degrees Celsius to 21 degrees Celsius. It serves a population of 19,000, with 5,000 of that comprising of university students. And it's been in operation since 1986. The Arcata Marsh is part of Arcata Bay and Humboldt Bay, which is situated along the Pacific Flyway. Humboldt Bay is the major estuary between Puget Sound and Washington and San Francisco Bay of California. So it's a really important resting point for migratory birds. And it acts as a corridor for surrounding habitat. It's a sanctuary for over 300 bird species and mammals, amphibians, macroinvertebrates, vegetation, otters, and fish as well. It provides a popular bird watching spot. Wait, let me just get that bar at the top.
Move that,
Okay, wait,
move that down.
right here. Okay, that's better.
And you can move that other thing wherever you want.
Okay.
It's usually the very bottom.
I'll just move it to the top. Okay. All right, so it's a popular bird watching spot. There's over 5 miles of trail systems that provide recreational opportunities like walking, jogging, biking. Nature tours and environmental education is provided there. And I just wanted to mention Friends of Arcata Marsh as well. They provide lectures, education tours. So lectures like this one I'm doing right now, bird watching tours and many events such as wetland design workshops and also Godwit Days, bird festivals. And okay. So this is a mural of Arcata Marsh. It's one of my favorite art pieces of Arcata Marsh. It really highlights like the beauty and the nature and the birds of the system. And the story or the history behind Arcata Marsh, first it started as a large oxidation pond in the 1950s, and it was discharging secondary treated wastewater into the bay. And with the passing of the Clean Water Act in 1972, so it was required that all wastewater being discharged into state waters to be regulated under the NPDES discharge requirements. So at first there was a proposal to build a regional conventional wastewater treatment plant. But the community like pushed back because they wanted a more environmentally friendly solution and more like a community focused solution. So in 1982, 2 professors from Humboldt State University successfully demonstrated that a constructed wetland treatment system was a viable option for the community. So there's a lot of community support. Like "Flush with Pride" was the slogan back in the day. I think it's still a slogan right now, but I haven't really seen it as much. Or shit, I'm not sure. So in 1986 was the start of operation, and then 2023, there's a 2-phase upgrade that's going on, which I'll get into more later in this presentation. Okay, so this is a general flow diagram of the treatment train. So first we have the headworks and primary clarifier. That's where the raw wastewater comes in and the largest of the particles are moved here. And from here, it gets sent to the 2 oxidation ponds down here. Then from there, it gets sent to 6 treatment wetlands, which are heavily vegetated. From there, it's sent to disinfection. And afterwards, the enhancement wetlands. Up there, 3 enhancement wetlands. These are both vegetated and open water systems. And it acts as a final polishing step of the system. And then afterwards, it's sent back to disinfection and then discharged into the bay. But I just want to mention, this is an outdated flow diagram, like currently, this gets discharged into the brackish marsh above the enhancement wetland. And the site provides 88.4 acres of treatment area, and the design flow is 2.3 million gallons per day. And if we look at the design parameters right here, the HRT, or the hydraulic retention time, is rated at 52.4 days. So that's like 52 days of treatment, and that includes oxidation ponds, treatment wetlands, and enhancement wetlands. Okay, so the original argument to construct these wetlands was like a demonstration of an enhancement of the water quality to provide additional beneficial uses. So the keywords here were enhancement, beneficial uses, and co-benefits. So my initial questions were, what are these beneficial uses, and is Arcata Marsh's process of treating and enhancing wastewater providing the proposed beneficial uses? So before we go into that, I just want to talk about the two-phase upgrade. So right now there's the phase 1 upgrade is going on. It started 2 years ago. This includes upgrading a 50-year-old wastewater distribution system, upgrading the disinfection system from chlorine to UV, and also the bay discharge to the brackish marsh discharge, and also adding aerators, baffles, automated weirs, and other upgrades. So this hard to see, but if you walk around the brackish marsh, and if you just go in and look to the left, yeah, you'll see a pipe right here with the water coming out, but that's one of the upgrades. This one is from the end of Hauser Marsh. These are the weirs that were upgraded, and then these are the aerators that were added into the oxidation ponds. So what about phase 2 upgrade? So the start date is still tentative, and phase 2 is actually based on the impacts of the aerators that are placed in LP1 and LP2, which are the 2 oxidation ponds. And so the adding aerators were actually in response to a proposed installation of these oxidation ditch. Okay, so oxidation ditch versus an oxidation pond. Oxidation ditch is smaller, it takes up less space, but it has higher energy usage. It has effective treatment, but if we switch to an oxidation ditch system, that means we'll be replacing the existing oxidation ponds. So yeah, so we wanted to utilize the existing utilities, so the existing oxidation ponds. So that's why we added the aerators in there. And this is kind of hard to see, but these little dots are the aerators in the south oxidation pond right now. And like right now, the north oxidation pond is adding aerators as well. So our question was, why was oxidation ditch proposed in the first place? So this was in response to an update to the discharge requirements. This was set at the TW outfall, which is the treatment wetland outfall. And I just want to remind everyone the treatment wetlands are right here, and the outfall to that would be right around here. And that's before the enhancement wetlands. Whereas like before, like originally, the discharge requirements were set at after the enhancement wetlands. And if you recall back to this slide, the design parameters here, the HRT, the hydraulic retention time, was 52.4 days of treatment, which also included the enhancement wetlands. So there was a concern that the original intended purpose of enhancement wetlands were being forgotten or even being disregarded. So a lot of questions and concerns came up because of that. And some other questions and concerns that came up, I won't be going too deep into this, but for example, original permit requirements allow blending. There's an issue with federal waters versus state waters. Who's responsible for the water quality? Why was that changed in the permit requirements? So all these questions and concerns. And so I have a quote from Bob. Because of what was happening with upgrades, it pushed a lot of buttons. And these buttons included like ecological, technological, permitting, application, and public use buttons. And with sea level rise discussions happening right now, it really enlarged the perspective of the Arcata Marsh. And it became necessary to revisit the functions of the Arcata Marsh as a whole and the enhancement wetlands. So this brings me to the purpose and the scope of my project. So my project was sort of a meta-analysis of the marsh. So re-identifying and characterizing the beneficial uses of the marsh. And the scope, I kept it within the freshwater areas of the marsh. So the oxidation ponds, the treatment wetlands, the enhancement wetlands, and also the surrounding areas and habitats. Okay, so the initial question, can you make a constructed wetland that provides water enhancement while supporting and creating additional beneficial uses? Yes, this is highlighted in the different case studies around the US. So this is a report done by the EPA highlighting the different constructed wetland systems in the US. And Arcata Marsh is also included in here. So how do we characterize all those benefits was another question. And rapid assessment methods exist to assess these benefits, but there is no like one singular method to assess and characterize all wetlands. And in the context of constructed wetlands, so they mimic the functions of a natural wetland. So like physical, chemical, biological, and photochemical processes. And maintaining the system involves utilizing ecological communities and minimizing energy. So, and constructed wetlands are also designed based on the specific needs of the community. So it's a little bit more complex when characterizing constructed wetland. So here are my project goals. I had 4 goals for my thesis. The first one, characterize the beneficial uses of Arcata Marsh quantitatively and qualitatively to the best of my abilities. And second one, find out the current state of Arcata Marsh. Third one, find out the awareness of Arcata Marsh. And then finally, raise awareness of Arcata Marsh as well. And here are my 2 research questions for this project. How can the beneficial uses of Arcata Marsh be characterized with available data? And is the system still providing these beneficial uses to this day? And the second one is, what is the role of enhancement wetlands in the context of the beneficial uses? So before I go into answering these questions, I just wanted to do a quick break, like a discussion break. So I just want to ask the audience, what benefits do you think exist for the Arcata Marsh? And I just want to start off like wastewater treatment and habitat creation is the main ones, I think. But if anyone has more, I would like to hear your thoughts as well.
I walk down here a lot because I live several blocks above Samoa, and it's just nice to get out of the city. It feels like you're kind of way away. You hear the sort of rumble of the freeway,
Okay,
sometimes
yeah.
more, sometimes less, but it's just so nice to get out of the city and get into a natural environment.
Mhm.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree. Yes.
It's a great exercise place
Yes,
for
it sure is,
exercise,
yeah,
for
yeah,
both me and my dog.
I agree with that too.
It's like a city park.
City Park, yeah,
It is.
so like, for your point, it's like maybe the audio, like the sounds of Arcata.
Yeah, it
Like,
really dampens
that's
us
also
down.
benefit, yeah.
It's out of the city. It
Yeah.
just feels like it, and it's you know, like, aside from the roar of the freeway, which could be like a big river or something.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's really nice, and you get really nice views over the bay,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
when the water's out, and when the water's in, and it's so
Like,
different. It's,
yeah,
every time I come down here, a couple times a week for some years now, it's just different every time.
Mhm,
There's
yeah,
always something
I
different
agree.
going on. It's
Yeah.
quite interesting.
yes,
It's a education place for both college students
Mhm.
and younger people.
yeah, that's really important, and I think that's a really important part of Arcata Marsh as well. Anyone else?
Well, we provide with restrooms,
True, yeah.
which we could use some more of.
I agree with that too.
A couple of comments coming in on your.
Oh,
chat.
yeah, sure, let's see. So we had. Demonstrates alternate solutions to wastewater treatment. Yeah, that is a really good point. And non-water contact recreational use. Well, yeah, I agree with that. Okay, wait, let's see.
Great place to see wildlife.
Yes. Okay, so thank you for all your comments. And oh, yes.
Yeah, I also feel, you know, I'm down there lots and it's never boring because it's always different.
Yeah,
The tide's
yeah,
different, the weather, the lighting.
Yeah, for
birds are
sure.
different. It's never boring. It's
yeah. The seasonal views are like really,
Yeah.
really amazing. And I also agree with that. Yes.
And I think it just draws a lot of people to Arcata. I worked at the desk here for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Meet people from all over the world, and they've heard about the Arcata.
Yeah,
Park,
yeah.
So they want to come here and check it out. And so I think it's
Yeah.
an incredible asset for Arcata.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because I'm going to be talking about that too, like the educational reach that the Arcata Marsh gets. So I'll talk more on that in my results section.
Economic tourism.
Yes, that's an important one.
One thing you might not have on your list is cross-country runners that use it.
Okay.
And you haven't mentioned dogs, but.
Dogs, okay, well, I will be mentioning dogs. Okay, so, yeah, those are really excellent ideas and suggestions, and I went through this similar like brainstorming session when starting this project, and I just want to share my initial sketch of the project. So this like a whiteboard, like I just drew out this sketch, and I still have it up on my wall in my apartment. I walk past it every day. I leave the house, but so my idea of this sketch was the city of Arcata provides the wastewater to the Arcata treatment facility, and then from there the secondary treated wastewater fuels the wildlife sanctuary, which also fuels like habitat, education, research, recreation, and all of that leads to like a healthy city and sustainability. So from this point, like it has evolved, obviously. So here was the list that I came up with of the beneficial uses of Arcata Marsh. And I'll just go through like from top to bottom. So number 1, water quality and enhancement. 2, freshwater habitat creation. 3, education and research. For recreational use, 5, buffering during large rainfall events. 6, economic activity. 7, carbon sequestration capabilities. 8, lower carbon footprint. 9, adaptability to climate change. 10, specialized functions such as pharmaceutical and microplastic reduction. And then finally 11, aesthetics, health, and sustainability. So this list was created based upon any available data that I could find and analyze, and any additional attainable data. So that included like the Arcata Marsh research survey, which I'll be talking about. So I also wanted to mention that this list, it's how I interpreted Arcata Marsh. And if anyone else did this project, they would probably have a different list. And like I mentioned earlier, there's no one single way to characterize this type of system. So the available data, as I was saying, it's on the left, and the additional attainable data here